Elsie Bray's dark future has been known about since Beyond Light. Most of its events have been averted thanks to our Guardian's intervention. A big part of that book, though, is Eris Morn and her work with Savathun in the darkness to destroy the last city. Today we are going to explain the dark future and if it's coming true with Eris Morn's transformation into a Hive God.
Beyond ours lies another world, one pervaded by darkness, where Guardians abandoned their light at the call of temptation. In that world, you were no exception. But here, in this world, light and dark swell within you side by side, giving you strength. Remember that when you step onto the ziggurat once more. You're there for one reason and one alone, to fully harness the darkness within you.
So first of all, what is the dark future for those that don't know? Well, the dark future is a different timeline Elsie Bray is forced to relive over and over again in a Groundhog Day-like loop. It starts when Cade 6 became Vanguard and ends with an evil Eris Morn and battle against her forces on the moon. Lots of crazy things happen, so let's recap the main events from that story, then we'll talk about the possibilities of it coming true. The bombardment. We were hit on all sides. Aramis, the Cabal, Savathun, all attacking our strongholds at once. We never recovered. When the Dark Guardians turned on Aramis and the Cabal, everyone who wasn't killed went into hiding. The book begins with Anna and Elsie Bray. Elsie is just sort of hiding out, the city is destroyed, everything's basically gone. Anna appears, she's like, "What are you doing? We have to fight this one last time. Maybe it's time for you to teach me stasis." Elsie disagrees, not wanting to fight back at first, but in order to protect her sister, she eventually heads out with her, and they begin a new plan to take down Eris Morn once and for all. Anna is hellbent on stopping Savathun even after they lost everything. They first bring back Rasputin into an exo frame, upload him at the Deepstone Crypt, make him into an exo, and head to the destroyed city and tower. There they find an ancient and ragged Zavala who doesn't want to fight anymore. He's got a beard, he tells us Ikora is dead, and that we've already lost, there's no point in fighting. He tells Anna and Elsie some more of the backstory from the war. The Vanguard ran some cloak and dagger missions a while back in the Black Garden. We tried to suppress the Black Heart. It ended up corrupting the Guardians who came into contact with it. From there out, Dark Guardians spawned, and darkness slowly spread. Zavala says Savathun was just a pawn. You want the real witch, you want Eris Morn. Zavala takes Anna, Elsie, and Rasputin to his new home, carved in the ruins of the Almighty, which crash-landed behind the city. Eris wasn't special. She was corrupted as easy as the rest. She came to me after finding an artifact inside a pyramid on the moon and deceived us all. The bombardment was her masterstroke, proving that the darkness destroys all it touches. So with Eris Morn at the head, Savathun and other forces among their ranks, like Aramis, they invaded and destroyed the city. During this battle, Savathun tore off Zavala's leg. I looked up to the Traveler, hoping it would be our salvation from this atrocity, but instead, it just left, abandoned us when we needed it most. I wanted to reach out and grab it, make it stay, make it save us as we always thought it would, but that was it, gone. Cabal forces crumbled the rest. In Zavala's files at his little home here, Rasputin finds Gaul's plans to ensnare the Traveler and harvest its light. This becomes their new final plan: find the Traveler, bring it back, and make it fight. To do that, they would need Marasov. Throughout this book, Anna begs Elsie to teach her stasis, but Elsie refuses, saying it's too hard to control, and Anna throws her tantrums. The team arrives in space at the Leviathan, where Marasov now resides. No one knows where Callus is, but Mara has an awoken army along with Fallen and some Cabal on her side. Mara says the Vex are trapped in time by our betrayer and her dark army. Mara feels weary about Elsie's stasis powers but agrees to help. her awoken army constructs the harness and they successfully attach it to the Traveler, bringing it back toward Earth. The final battle against Eris takes place on the moon. Rasputin would pilot the Leviathan as the team's dropship would descend. On the surface, they fight Thrall as Dark Guardians rush out from Eris Morn's Scarlet Keep. Zavala channels the Traveler's light like Gaul once did. He crashes into the keep and levels it to rubble. As Anna and Elsie approach, Eris speaks. Eris is regaining her footing as we close in. All of my detractors in one place. Thank you for bringing them to me, Anna, she says and smiles. Elsie turns to Anna, confused. She pulls out a knife and readies it toward Mara. I make a move to stop her, but I can't. I'm frozen in place by Anna. She stabs Marasov in front of us. You're welcome, my queen. Stasis and blood drip from her hands. We are all dark eventually, Eris says with glee. Anna pleads with Elsie to join the darkness, join her and Eris Morn's side. Elsie of course disagrees and Anna stabs her multiple times as Eris opens portals and lets the Vex invade. Elsie now knows what she has to do. She wanted to prevent this all along, but she has to kill her own sister Anna, and she does. The Traveler unleashes a wave of energy and Elsie's time loop starts over. She's back to the day Cade 6 became Vanguard. No matter what I do, it always ends the same, blood and betrayal. Then I'm back where I started, right here. I'm being taunted, punished, forced to relive this loop. There has to be a way out. I will find it. I have to save my sister. Beyond Light's story would avert Anna's dark path as far as we know. Elsie refused to teach her stasis. This time she wanted to teach her, but Anna refused to use the dark power herself.
This is exactly what we need to decrypt the journal and find that stasis research.
Stasis? You mean darkness power?
Anna, what we're doing here is extremely important. Stasis is just a tool. We've used it for good.
You're using darkness?
Our past. I thought that keeping it from you was the best way to protect you.
Protect me? I've been protecting myself just fine without your help, thanks. And this? Using the darkness? That can't end well.
And it didn't before. But this time...
Hold on. Before?
In another timeline, Anna, you were too obsessed with your past for your own good. And I was too selfish for my own good. The truth is, I'm not from this timeline. Where I come from, the darkness won. And I tried to shield you from it, but all I did was drive you to it. I'm sorry for keeping so much from you. I think the best way to help you now is just to be there for you. Most of all, helping me reunite with my sister. In the dark future, Anna was tempted, and I wasn't there for her. From now on, she can count on me. And when she's ready to wield darkness for good, I'll be right there to guide her. In fact, I'll be here to guide anyone who wants it. The Vanguard only recognizes the light. Someone has to do the same for the dark. Or else we risk losing everyone and everything.
They didn't speak much in that dark future, but now we can see the bond they've formed since Beyond Light. They had some arguments, but now they're hugging each other in cutscenes like Seraph. In the dark timeline, our Guardian didn't exist. We are a big reason for most of this change as well. If we didn't head to Europa, maybe Elsie would never have bonded with Anna again, and maybe her dark future would have happened. In the dark future, the Black Heart corrupts Guardians, but our Guardian goes in and destroys the heart. Eris has been obsessed with the Hive and ending them since her fire team died in the pit, and she is definitely no stranger to survival. In our timeline next to the Hive shenanigans, she also studies darkness and even wields stasis. We still got that artifact from the pyramid in Shadowkeep, and that's where Eris herself learned the power of stasis. In the dark future, when Eris found this artifact, presumably the one from Shadowkeep, she became corrupted by the darkness and ended up working with Savathun. Ikora and many others worry about Eris during week 1.
Guardian, the value of the magic you've unearthed here is undeniable. But watching you and Eris revel in violence, tithing with hive rituals, it was disturbing.
But she speaks of whispers calling to her from the deep, and I have no assurance she can resist them forever.
So Eris hears whispers from the deep. We better hope she can resist them. Savathun also predicted Eris would take this path. I mean, she had a plan for it to happen after her death. She laid out the steps for us to take for Eris to ascend to this new form.
You've accepted my proposal. We have mutual interests after all, despite our bad blood. If you want to remove her from the board, you'll need to test her thesis. There's power for the taking, Eris. And for that, you'll have to prove your right to exist.
Did she foresee the two working together after Xivu's death? Maybe, but in a different way than the dark future. In the dark future, no one really liked Eris and she was sort of on her own. It's the complete opposite with us in the picture. Sure, the connection with Savathun and the deep might be there from that dark future, but Savathun left the darkness behind to gain the light. And even if she was brought back and Eris was this almighty Hive God, we would both still have to deal with the witness, and Savathun would likely assist us with that, at least for the time being.
Eris, I spoke with Elizabeth Bray. I can imagine why. She fears phantoms, futures that have not come to pass. I do not fault her for her concern. Tell her I am not alone. I don't know if she'll understand. She has to.
Eris has been on our side since the beginning, and a big twist like this before the end of this saga wouldn't really make sense or fit in with the time we have left before the final shape, but I guess you never know. Maybe Eris slips a little too far as a plot twist in this season's story, but comes back in the end to defend us like she always does. Most of the dark future, though, has been averted. Anyway, Guardians, that's all we got for today's video. I don't think I've ever recapped the dark future this in depth, and I hope you enjoyed that along with Eris Morn's connections. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.